Hello, and welcome to another uh, session of the RUPL interviews. Joining me today is Expulso from the Crunchwrap Supreme Overlord Juniors, or Overlord
Indeed, yes.
Juniors.
Hello. Got it close enough I couldn't tell the difference.
How are you? So, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Just I'm a student, so I got a good amount of homework this weekend, but I never have classes on Monday, so I just got plenty of days to do it. Just gonna be hanging out for the most part. What are you up to?
Cool. Uh, I'm sorting out all this. I'm
Yeah.
helping sort out all these interviews. I believe this is the last one. So, first, let's get to know you. How did you get started on Smogon?
Yeah, so I started back in 2013, which is so long ago. I don't know how I started really. Besides, I don't know, I played video games, but I don't remember being like recommended it by anybody. I just sort of stumbled on it. Then I played LC and RU really badly until like 2015 or 16, and because I was like the ages of 13 to 15, I was like a huge noob poster. I had some really dumb posts, and I look back, I cringe so hard at every one of those. But I got a little experience there, and then in like 2015 or 16, I quit for a while, basically until 2019, I think, right before the pandemic, because I started seeing some Joey Pokey videos. It got me back in it some, and since 2019, I've been pretty active on here and like all sorts of lower tiers. I mean, you want to talk about like why did RU specifically, or is that good?
Uh, no, you can go ahead and say that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I'll throw that out there. I don't know. I remembered some of the people from RU when I came back. I didn't see Discord when I was first on the site, and so coming back to Discord was like a huge change because it's so much different than like Pokemon Showdown activity. So I remember when I rejoined in 2019 because RU, I remember that being the format I played in like 2015. I came back to see the Discord and it was crazy. It was very active then, and I mean lately it has been too, which is awesome. I remember seeing all the guys like Ajna, Feli, ODR, all that stuff going on in the just everyone chat and shop in the Discord all the time, and it was very fun to get involved in. So I stayed with RU for a while.
Sounds good. Uh, Tell us about your first RUPL that you played in.
Sure. So I remember my first game in it like crazy. I think it was 2019 or 2020. Mr. Aldo drafted me when I was a pretty new player. And my first game was against Punny. I forget if I got subbed in or if it was just the last game, but it was a deciding game. I think we were down 4-3. And I was so nervous of like the 18 people watching or whatever. I was literally like shaking in my chair as I like tried to click. And my timer was at like 5 to 10 seconds for like 40 straight turns or something insane. Um, I remember it was like a really weird game where I was like, I had Ndidi and Beware and he had Sableye. And I was like trying to use Ndidi's terrain to block Prankster for Beware to like set up against Sableye and get kills. And I also forgot I had a Ninetales that game and I forgot to put Drought on it. So I got into the battle. I was like, oh my god, where's my? Because it would have totally like I had Solar Beam on it and he had his only fire resist was a Lantern. I get in the game, I'm like, oh my god, I can't use Solar Beam. So my first RUPL start was like a crazy. I was so nervous and there was just so much going on. And then I don't know. I was building for people. I remember being pretty active in the chat and like very invested in the team. As I don't think things did that well. We didn't do playoffs. But I got to meet some good friends back then, like GW. I don't think Gorax was on the team, but I tested with him a lot. I forget if Sensei was around then, but it was a good place to meet some of the other mainers at the time, and we got pretty close after that tour.
Cool. So that was SM, I'm guessing.
That was the start of SS. SS went through so many different metas,
Oh
so it's like
yes, yeah.
recognizable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early SS. Fair
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Very fun time.
hmm So, how did you approach the draft?
This draft, I had recently done another draft with Ments for PU blind draft. I had a similar approach here, which is just that we make a plan with each tier. I kind of list out like up to like 7 or 8. Well, there's 18, so up to like 8 good options for each tier. Kind of try to rank them in order, and make a realistic plan for like who we want to go for. And anyone that's kind of higher on that list than who we want to go for, or who we just expect to be a lot of money, we kind of put them in an up bid category. And so I'm just thinking like, okay, once we get like once we get like pretty high up in the money relative to other teams, we can use that to go like get our people. We wanted to be pretty close to our plan. Like I remember I wanted Lunala in particular because they can provide a lot of old gens support, and I don't really have that many like ORAS teams or anything. And I know ORAS is a really frustrating one to not have support for like from my last REPL when our ORAS player left the team mid tour. Um, so I definitely wanted them in SM. So we stayed pretty strict to our plan. Like I got the black white player I planned on. We got one of the Orasers we planned on. Yeah, I just made that plan kind of like ranking out people in each tier, setting an estimated price, and then we went to it. The SV was funny because we had like 10 options listed out, and then we just ended up we ended up picking a few of our favorites, and one came up as just like a mid auction change.
Okay. And on the topic of your team, can I just ask where the name came from? Because it's an interesting one.
It came from my girlfriend, so I've been talking to her more about Pokemon the past couple months. Like she ladders the random battles some, um, and so I'm telling her I'm managing this tour, and I'm complaining like, oh, this team name thing is like it's so stupid. I have to come up with this ability name, and I can't come up with anything. She's like, hold on, like let me cook, and we just go through like 10 just random puns on abilities because mine were just like nonsense. I had like the Beast Boost boys for like the Beastie Boys, and like that was it. I would have got really sick of that pretty quickly. And she came up with that one, or the Crunchy Taco Supreme Overlords, and I was like, that's so funny. I'd have to go with that. And then we add the junior to comply with the RE requirement, and then that's 5 words, which is insane. So we make it Crunchwrap, and here we are. Very,
Yeah.
very mixed reviews on it.
Yes, it's been a controversial name for sure,
Yeah,
but it's a fun one.
yeah, at least something memorable.
That it is. So, about the other teams, who do you think is the most threatening?
I'm gonna go check real fast because I posted a power ranking, or not really a power ranking, just my own ranking. I was pretty high on the hustlers and the payloaders. I think I'm gonna go pull up their rosters real quickly. But the hustlers, I mean, that's Beraldo's team if I remember correctly, and they're the defending champs. Um, like as I look over their roster, I know well, two of their strongest players are Santu and Dugza. Like they have a lot of other good options, but I know Santu has some kind of mixed availability. I talked to him pre-draft. He told me he'd probably be missing 2 weeks, and he kind of needs teams. Um, and Dugza, like I don't know how much he does Oras. Lime, I know he also talked about missing 2 weeks in his sign up, I believe. So like there are some like question marks about how they're going to get through the season, but I think Beraldo's a good enough manager to like get them over their humps. And then like at their ceiling, they have just like basically a whole roster of really strong players. Like I think Beraldo, T Noons, LPZ, who's doing awesome in the seasonal lately, and he does like every tour around too, with good results in basically all these like different tiers. Uh, Beraldo, T Noons, LPZ, Santu, Dugza, Lime. Like that's a really strong core. And then I like Gio and Metallica. I think can do decent as well to keep it afloat. They're very impressive, and then I like the payloaders too. It was so funny. Like Wildcat went hard 15K on Chaitanya instantly, and everyone was like laughing. And now that I like look over his like historical performance, I am reminded that like okay, 15K is probably like it's a good price to have him at. But yeah, Goldcat, Star, Chaitanya, Bluebird, Buff, who I've been testing with lately, and I'm definitely impressed by an SV. Are you? They got the Chungler, who's one of my favorites. That was like one of my biggest like mainer guys to potentially get. We ended up grabbing HJK HJ for that, which I'm really excited about. I would have loved the Chungler too. Um, but we just got kind of priced out there. But I'm excited. It's cool to see he went for more than 3K, and I think he'll be a big asset for them. I think those teams just have a really good mix of like big names and managers who are invested. I'm also excited to watch the Guardians because we play in week 1. I have a lot of friends on that team, so it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it will. And the final question, what are you most excited to see over the course of the RUPL season?
On my own team, I'm really excited to see the builds my SV players come up with. I drafted Helam, aka Monster, and what's actually going to be Kushalos for SV. It's really funny. Kush put SS in his sign up, and then I told him like, okay, we're putting you in the SS slot, and he's like, whoa, what's up with this? And he's like, he wanted to sign up for SV, but like he forgot the name of the current gen, which is super funny.
Oh
Even though he
no.
played it, So we're flexing around that, and we've got him in. He's in SV along with Monster and HJKHJ. But he and Monster have already both shown a lot of interest in like coming up with their own teams, laddering. So I'm really interested to see how their stuff looks on our squad and follow their performance throughout, along with just seeing the meta trends of SVRU, because I'm sure it's gonna change a lot. Let me just look for some other teams I'm interested in. I'm curious to see how the Ajnafeli team does, because like I feel like they haven't been the hottest in team tours lately, but like you look at the roster and it always has like so much potential.
Yeah, big names there.
And they have the controversial double buy. I don't know if it's controversial here, but NU thought about doing a double manager buy system, and it's been a very heated discussion. So I'm curious to see if like we can buy Ajna and Feli along with like the technicians. We can buy Floss and the Franklin. Like I'm curious to see how those pay off for those teams. I mean, I'm also just interested to have the see Discord discussion of the games and the tour every week because there's so many people like you that are following it, interested, and I think the RU community is like more active than it's been in a really long time. So it's always more fun to be part of a tour where like people care about it and are watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh, I don't know if I have anything in particular. Like, the development of the SV meta is definitely something I'd like to see.
Yeah, are there any bans on the radar? I feel like Thunderous might have been talked about.
Yeah, there are like three main Pokemon who've been talked about, which were in the April Fool's suspect test.
So Thunderous, Enamorous, and Leaves?
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
like they're the main three, although I don't know if or when anything is going to happen, if it's even happening during the season.
Yeah, I feel like I'd bet like at least one of them goes during the season. Probably not all three, but maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's always about like people adapting to those trends in these tours. So like everyone's like probably gonna start off with like Hippo Cyclizar, and then everyone's gonna counter Hippo Cyclizar, and then that's gonna go so far that like Hippo Cyclizar is just like uncontroversially like the best again. And like we saw this cool Palisand spikes from Lime in that seasonal game. I feel like that's going to be like a sort of like off meta style that could have a little big spike. I wouldn't be surprised to see randomly like 6 Palisand usages week 1 or something like that.
Yeah, there's definitely
Like I
been
don't know.
discussion about the playstyle.
Yeah, it's a really big, diverse tier. Like I think it's going to be, it has a lot of potential. Just because the NU and PU mons are honestly like, there's a lot of really good ones down there too. So it's such a big pool. It's like I'm just looking at the tier for really the first serious time in a long time, and there's just I'm kind of overwhelmed with options right now. It's really fun though.
Yeah, it is. So that's all we have for today. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I've definitely talked your ear off during these questions. So thanks for doing this. I mean, good questions.
Yeah, thank
Definitely
you for
had fun
joining
talking
us.
about it. I'm looking forward to the tour. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Have a good one.